Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we're just going to dive straight into this one because we have a lot of ground to cover. Today, we are unpacking a really powerful, highly actionable 24-hour framework that is literally designed to completely rewire your mind. Seriously, if you ever feel like you're just trapped in this endless prison of your own overthinking, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down exactly how to stop living inside your own head and start actually seeing the incredible opportunities that are probably sitting right in front of you. But first, we need to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. What if the biggest thing holding you back right now isn't the economy? It isn't your boss, it isn't a string of bad luck. What if it's you? Think about it. Your brain just feels stuck in the mud. You overthink, you worry endlessly, and you're constantly exhausted because it feels like you're just wading through your own thoughts all day. You have these great ideas, right? But then fear hits. What if I fail? What are people going to say about me? So you end up doing nothing. Look, the hard truth is, this is a prison. But the bars aren't made of steel. They are entirely constructed from your own doubts and anxieties. So how do we break out of this? Well, to really understand that, we need to look at someone who knows this feeling of failure intimately. 30. I want you to think about that number for a second. That is the number of different jobs a guy named Jack Ma applied for and was flat out rejected from. 30 rejections. When we look at highly successful billionaires today, we kind of trick ourselves into believing they were just born with some magical power or that they were somehow immune to failure. But Jack Ma's life before founding Alibaba was honestly just a long, painful list of getting told no. And trust me, that rejection went incredibly deep. 10. That's the number of times Jack Ma applied to Harvard University. 10 separate times he sent in his application, and 10 separate times he got a letter back essentially saying, thanks, but no thanks. I mean, just imagine the mental toll of that kind of repeated failure. It would have been so incredibly easy to just look at those letters, decide he wasn't good enough, and permanently throw in the towel. But the hits just kept coming. 3. He failed his university entrance exams 3 separate times. Actually, he failed his school tests so frequently growing up that he joked he started to think his actual name was Jack Fail. He was just so incredibly accustomed to hearing the world tell him he wasn't making the cut. But here is perhaps the absolute lowest point, the real dramatic climax of his early life. 1 point on his very first math exam. Out of the entire test, he scored just 1 single point. Can you even imagine that feeling of total defeat? For a really long time, he just felt like an absolute failure. He wallowed in it, complaining to anyone who would listen that the world just wouldn't give him a fair shot. But then came the turning point. Out of all that frustration, Jack Ma realized a really harsh but ultimately liberating truth. Complaining solves 0 problems. Literally 0. He realized that the world, honestly, does not care about your complaints. Your life is never, ever going to get better if you just sit around blaming other people for your circumstances. Now, this turning point wasn't some kind of magic spell. It was a profound shift in perspective. See, the old mindset tells us that failure is the exact opposite of success, that it means it's the end of the road. But the Jack Ma mindset, it flips that completely upside down. Failure isn't the end. Failure is data. It becomes this vital stepping stone that simply shows you exactly what didn't work and where you need to improve. He literally stopped saying, they rejected me, and started saying, okay, I am learning. So we have to completely redefine what the word failure actually means to us. Giving up? That is the greatest failure. It's the only time you actually truly lose your chance. Jack Ma relates this to being a boxer, right? If you step into the ring, you have to get used to taking some hits. If you can't stand getting punched, how are you ever going to win the match? As long as you refuse to throw in the towel and you stay on your feet, you're still in the game. This totally conscious decision to change his thinking was his grand reset. And the most beautiful thing about this, it's a process you can kick off right now, literally within the next 24 hours. So let's get into it. Here is the rapid 7-step reset, starting with step 1. Stop thinking and do one small thing. Don't wait around for the perfect moment or some magical sign from the universe. Your brain is stuck right now because you are constantly arguing with yourself inside your own head. So just write down one tiny thing you've been putting off. Maybe it's an email or a quick phone call, and just do it. Inaction breeds fear, but action makes you brave. It proves to your brain that you are the boss, not your anxiety. Okay, step 2, change your environment. Look, if you just sit in the exact same room, staring at the exact same walls all day, you are going to think the exact same thoughts. It's inevitable. Your brain literally craves new visual stimuli. So physically move your body. Go walk in a different park, take your laptop to a new cafe, or honestly, just move to a different room in your house. A new physical environment is a necessary catalyst for new thinking. Like the source material so wonderfully puts it, you are never going to find a brand new idea hiding in the same old pile of laundry. Right, so once you've changed your physical space, step 3 is about changing who you interact with. Talk to someone different. We so often lock ourselves in these mental cages by only ever talking to the exact same people who all think the exact same way we do. To really hit reset, you've got to break that pattern. Talk to a total stranger, grab coffee with a colleague from a totally different department, or call up an old friend. But, and here's the absolute secret to this step, make sure you listen way more than you talk. Ask them about their problems, their ideas. Their totally different perspective might just unlock a door in your mind that you didn't even realize was closed. Which brings us nicely to step 4, move your body. Your mind and your body are deeply, deeply connected. When your brain feels completely gridlocked, I can pretty much guarantee your body is probably tense and stuck too. Now, this isn't about doing some crazy, intense CrossFit workout. It's literally just about movement. Take a brisk 10-minute walk, do some stretches, or, hey, put on some music and dance around your living room. Even if you literally dance like a confused chicken, it doesn't matter. Physical activity rapidly clears out that mental fog. Remember, taking a break to move isn't being lazy, it's being smart. All right, step 5, write everything down. Right now, your head is probably just full of noise, worries, half-baked ideas, irrational fears. You need to get all of that out. Grab a piece of physical paper and just write for 10 unedited minutes. A total brain dump. Do not worry about spelling, don't worry about grammar, just write. When you do this, you're forcing all that abstract chaos into concrete words. Suddenly, you start to see what's actually going on up there. And usually, when you finally see those giant, terrifying fears written out on a piece of paper, you realize just how incredibly small they actually are in reality. Moving on to step 6, help somebody. When we get stuck in a rut, we become so hyper-focused on our own problems, right? It's all me, me, me. The absolute fastest way to break out of that negative loop is to shift your focus outward and think about someone else for a change. Find one small way to help someone today. Offer a kind word, do a tiny favor, give some solid advice. The very second you step up to help someone else, your own problems instantly seem to shrink, and you're reminded of your own inherent value to the world. And finally, step 7, get a good night's sleep. Seriously. In our modern hustle culture world, people seem to think it's some sort of badge of honor to be constantly exhausted and sacrifice sleep. This is a massive, massive mistake. A tired brain simply cannot reset itself, period. Sleep is the actual time when your brain literally goes in, cleans itself out, and prepares for the next day. Going to bed early is not a luxury, it is a tactical weapon. You will be absolutely blown away by how differently the world looks after you've actually had a proper night's rest. So when you actually execute these 7 actions, when you put this into practice, you aren't just passing the time, you are actively rewiring your brain's circuitry. You start to understand this massive secret that successful people know. Opportunities are always hiding exactly where everyone else is complaining. Where the rest of the world just sees an annoying problem, your newly rewired brain spots a brilliant business idea. Where others just see pure chaos, you see a blank canvas to build something new. And that leads us perfectly to what we call the entrepreneur mindset. And listen to me here. This isn't just for business owners or Silicon Valley CEOs. This mindset is for literally anyone who wants to live a real, fully engaged life. It means you compete by offering excellent service and fresh ideas, not by just copying what everyone else is doing. It means you view failure strictly as a learning mechanism. And maybe, most importantly, it means you are completely unburdened by the fear of other people's opinions, simply because you are way too busy seeking out a meaningful path instead of just taking the easy road. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought straight from Jack Ma. Today is hard. Tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. Look, your brain is not your enemy. It is absolutely the best tool you have, but you have to actively give it a chance to work for you. If you never take the time to hit reset, how will you ever truly know what you're capable of achieving? The future is entirely in your hands. So I'll leave you with this. What small step are you going to take today to go